the mentor of offensive line coach at Baylor, Eric Mateos, Sam Pittman. Coach Pittman, happy Friday, man. Thanks for coming on.
Y'all been drinking coffee in there. You're getting going pretty good this morning.
Oh, my goodness. Coach, I have already had a 9 a.m. today, and it was stellar. That is all I needed to get my juices flowing. A little bit of coffee, some bang, we're ready to rock.
That's awesome, man.
I love it. Now, Coach, first and foremost, to introduce myself, I'm Drake Toll, born and raised in Arkansas, born and raised a Hog fan, so I get it. I get the culture. These other yahoos in here, they're just not acquainted with it, but I know what it's like to throw that hog call up in front of, 75,000 at DWR and get those chills. These guys just don't know. They don't know. But to relate to them a little bit, we've got Eric Mateos coming in, and I know we looked at how Coach Grimes really dug to get Coach Mateos, and you were one of the ones that lobbied for Eric. Just tell us, who have we gotten in Eric Mateos at offensive line coach?
Oh, y'all got a good one. Really good one. Great recruiter. Works his tail off. The kids will love him. The Baylor will love him. Of course, Grimey is a outstanding offensive line coach in his own right, and certainly has proven over there at BYU what kind of coordinator he is, and I'm so happy for he's a good friend of mine as well. But Eric, when Eric was here, Grimey had called me about him, and I said, you need to hire him, and he went over to LSU with him, and he's just very smart, very bright. I was fortunate enough to be with him here at Arkansas my first time here. Again, just an outstanding recruiter. How do you change your offensive line? And you do it through recruiting and development. And he's really good at that. And I know that the people will be proud that he's at Baylor.
Coach, the aforementioned Yahoo, J.D. Pickell here. I'm co-hosting this with Drake Toll. So happy to have you on.
Thanks.
In regards to what Baylor fans can expect in year one from this offensive line, obviously it's a developmental process, but what can Baylor fans expect to see in year one from this new offensive line?
Aggressive. They'll be aggressive. They'll be well coached. They'll have good technique. But they're going to play extremely hard. If you go back and look at his line he had over there at BYU, those guys were nasty. They played very physical. And that's hopefully a trait that we've done since he was here at Arkansas. But they're going to play very extremely hard, and they'll be well coached technique wise.
Coach, when you first met Eric Mateos and got to work with him at the University of Arkansas, what do you remember about when he first started under you, and how much did he learn in those years that grew him into the coach he is now?
Very good personality. He was over at Hutchinson Junior College, where I was the head coach back in the early 90s. And he was over at Hutch, and we had a guy or two from Hutch in here on our coaching staff, and they recommended him, and we interviewed him, and a lot of energy, very dynamic. But the thing that stuck out to me was his work ethic and how smart he was. And hopefully, between myself and Grimey, he takes everything in, and not opinionated. Hey, this is what's been working, and I like that about him, because to be honest with you, by the middle of spring ball, he was coaching half the line when I was here the first time. That's the only way you can develop a GA, is let him go out there and coach. And certainly when I left here and I went to Georgia. Arkansas at that time was playing in the Liberty Bowl, and Eric was elevated to the offensive line coach when I left. And I think they rushed for 250 or so in that game and won that game. And I knew he was ready when I left. Of course, Coach Bielema knew that too, and elevated him as the O-line coach.
Coach, I'll never forget it. The Liberty Bowl with the red chrome helmets. Come on. I think Alex Collins went for 300 that night.
He's a monster.
Well, I don't remember the game like I was there, because I wasn't. But I do know that the line played really well that game, and obviously Collins was Alex Collins,
Yeah.
So really good day.
Absolute beast. Coach, you and Dave Aranda both took over programs during a COVID year. I would imagine a logistical nightmare. What was the hardest part about being a first-year coach during COVID?
COVID, in all honesty, the amount of time. I had no idea the amount of time that it would take. Your roster management was huge. I think it would be a special teams coordinator nightmare, simply because, you didn't really know your roster until Friday morning. You had an idea, but then Friday morning, then I can remember making this mistake. So-and-so has COVID and thinking, well, he's out. Well, that's not necessarily true. He's out, and then whoever he was around is out. And so I remember going, well, we only lost a guy or lost two guys, and it turned out to be 6 or 8 because of the quarantine part of it. So I'll bet you, and I hate to say this, but I'll bet half of our staff conversations had something to do with COVID throughout the season.
Wow. Coach,